traveling this old dirt road since my younger days. It's taken me to where I want to go, to a love so true and a love so right. Just take me home, take me down Reservation Road, Reservation Road. Take me home, carry me onward, back to her. Reservation Road, take me home, carry me onward, back to her. Reservation Road, take me home, carry me onward, back to her. Reservation Road, take me home, carry me onward, back to her. Back to her, back to her, back to her. Take me home, Reservation Road.
Oh yeah,
Sweet morning light touches the eastern sky as I'm standing on this reservation road. Been looking forward to this day when I would walk this road, 'cause this road takes me back to my baby's house. Reservation Road, take me home, carry me onward, back to her. Reservation Road, take me home, carry me onward, back to her.
Yate, Navajo Nation. This is your Navajo Nation president. I wanted to say good afternoon to each and every one of you. And every Thursday, 1 o'clock, thanks for tuning in. We do our very best to get you updates on everything that we're working on. So, Dr. Buu Nygren. Kachi instedo nats usabasis chin do tudichi ni das chi. Oh, nats usida shanala do the nenshen. Betinash inigi First Lady Jasmine Blackwater Nygren. Horoya asiego hihadoles. Si horo. Winter Rock, Arizona do nikisna shnet doles. Shi hot edoles. What Sebe hades. Sihigidio horoe. Some of the upcoming holidays or appreciation days. One of the things I want to announce is it's World Breast Cancer Research Day, ACE-CON, Friday, August 18th. So definitely trying to make sure that we bring awareness to the scientists, the doctors, the people that are very interested in trying to elevate and further the research on breast cancer. So thank you so much to all the people that are out there that are really trying to push the sciences so that we can continue to protect our women, to make sure that things that we can address a lot of the preventions a lot earlier. But some of the things obviously is as you're young, it's better to get checked all the time regularly and catch it sooner. So again, thank you for thinking about that. And also the other thing is to mention baby boomer. It's also today's baby boomer day, recognition day. So a lot of our grandmas and grandpas were probably born between 1946 and 1964. They're either between 57 years old and 75 years old. So again, to the baby boomers, to the Chays and the grandmas, it's baby boomer recognition day today. So and a lot of them have paved the way for a lot of the work that has happened in the world, and to continue to see them in leadership aspects as well. So thank you to them. And some other things. I know some of you have texted me and they say, President, why are you growing out your beard? Is it on purpose? I wish it was on purpose. I really do wish it was on purpose. But I think it's just growing up Navajo and just some of the teachings that your grandparents tell you about when there's a loss in the family. Within the past week, I've lost two really close relatives. One is my grandma's older sister. Her name was Lily Johnson. Her funeral is on Friday. And so just out of respect, you don't cut your nails, you don't shave, you don't shower, you make sure you have separate beds and things like that. And just making sure that you're in reverence and out of respect for my late grandma. So that was Friday. So Tuesday was 4 days. And then again, some unfortunate stuff with my family. Lost my late uncle's son as well. His name was Nick Johnson, young man, 26 years old. So his funeral is Wednesday. So out of respect for my close cousin as well, out of respect for my late uncle's son, I'm going to do another 4 days, which will bring me till, I think, end of day Saturday. Same thing, no shaving, no cutting the fingernails, and no cutting, and making sure you don't travel at night and things like that. So just out of respect, just want you guys to know that on why. I know it's not November No Shave Month, but just out of respect for some loss that I have with my own family. So again, that's one of the reasons why I haven't shaved. So, but next Monday you'll see me shaved. So, but yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I haven't shaved all week. So. And then also some announcements. I know there was a big announcement yesterday with my vice president, and I just want to keep it at that. Then I did talk with the vice president, and she did inform me of her separation with Olson, and that they talked about it extensively, and was mutually agreed upon to move on. So again, I just want to keep that that information personal to her, and if she feels like she needs to speak about it, she can speak about it on her own, or if you want to talk to her, you can talk to her. But as president, she's the vice president of the Navajo Nation, and that she supports me. I know there's so many initiatives that I have got going on, and as vice president, her number one duty is to support the president, the initiatives of the president, and the things that I'm working on. So that's what I told her, to stay focused on making sure that every single day she's supporting a lot of my priorities and my efforts, and making sure that we're getting those things done. So again, I'm gonna keep it at that. And if you want to talk with her and chat with her, that's up to you to chat with her. But as far as her role as the vice president, that's going to continue to move forward, and we're going to go from there. So, and then number two, I think Navajo Code Talkers Day. That was also another really good event. It was an exciting event. Si Diego, Denendan, Kachedo, Kachen Das Baigi, Kazadian Das Baigi, yo, Bohonet, Lon, Jono Badasi, Clean so much, this case, Si Diego. A Haha did a believe Nido, Ishena Needle. Si Diego, Kanmana Hassan, Macago, Beninachet, Nakada Hotol Zenigi, the Nebe Dan Kedotjigi, to every Beninachet Saman, this case. They're the ones that really put us on the map with our language, being able to sacrifice and fight for our country, even though we weren't allowed to vote, and they were saving the world, and they've developed a code and set a standard for within the Department of Defense. They call it the Unbreakable Code Hallway. So I know that their work will always be remembered. And as president, as I mentioned earlier, on Monday, that I fully support any legislation that comes before me for any dollar amount to build that Code Talker Museum and to be able to get veterans the services that they need. So really pushing a lot of those initiatives. So if you talk to a delegate or a leader, let them know, while we have 3 Code Talkers living, let's get it done, and then at the same time honor all the 400 plus Navajo Code Talkers. Again, that's a big thing that I think about that has happened. The other thing is making sure that there's a new COVID variant out there. I know that the only thing I'll say is make sure that you continue to stay on top of sanitizing your hands, making sure you're wiping down wherever you're eating, and just being careful. Make sure you're careful. And then if you're not feeling so well, wear a mask, and make sure you get your booster shots. Hajo ze khanda khadi the kosn saigi ba negi la hondi inde dige bechato le to ibn ze hazli ishi bin yet so hada those and yego bedas kaigi bin nachishi hajo de no idole don kedini dole. And the other announcement is First Lady is in trying to collect school supplies for the upcoming NTU and Dannett College students. I know coming in as a freshman and really trying to make sure that we continue to help our students move into campus. I know she's really she's got locations in Window Rock, Sherbrooke, Tuba City, Crown Point, Saley. She's got donation boxes out there. So don't hesitate to drop a bag, pencils, notebooks, towels, washcloths, a shampoo, conditioner. So the First Lady, Blackwater Nygren, is really trying to figure out how to put some welcome packages for our students going back to campus at NTU and Dannett College again, or you can call her office at 928-810-8505. And the other one that I think about is that I like to report on. It's heartbreaking every time I report on it, but is the missing people, missing woman. To report this week is a 21-year-old Megan Pearl Yazzie, was last seen a white T-shirt, gray sweatpants. And if you have any information, call Window Rock Chinle Police Department at 928-674-2111. Also, 22-year-old Angelita from Lupton, Arizona. Crown Point Police Department as well, 505-786-2050. And also really making sure that 37-year-old Renita Ann Begay, last seen in Red Springs, New Mexico, 5'5", 220 pounds. You can call Crown Point Police Department at 505-786-2050. And 45-year-old Marlena Begay, 5'1", 205 pounds. If you've seen her, 928-674-2111. That's Chinle Police Department. And also 33-year-old Leticia Candice Desirado. So again, 5'2", 150 pounds. Call your local police if you've seen them. I know there's a lot of family that are always constantly looking for their relatives. So if you know their whereabouts, sometimes through these little messages, people do come home, and also making sure that you're always checking in with your family. I know that a lot of times some of us forget how much our people care about us and how much they love us. I like to do this one too, just some fun history. This time in history, August 15, 1945, the Japanese surrendered in World War II. So that's another fun fact. I know that in exchange, they were given the ability to continue to maintain their industries that's unrelated to war, to access the raw materials, and eventually become permitted to resume international trade. So again, that's history as of this time in history. And then number 5, a lot of you shoot me text messages and let me know that this is always a good part of my address every week, is the Navajo sentence of the week, which is a life lesson. So this one is, again, sometimes it's easy to read in English, but when you convert it to Navajo, some of you say, President, that's not a Navajo sentence of the week. Sounds like a paragraph, but it's okay. Bear along with me. You can always, after the live is done, you can kind of scroll back and learn a little bit about it. But it's don't underestimate people. Sometimes the great things come from the person no one imagines anything of, who does the one thing no one can imagine. In Navajo, you could say, "Dene dobazot li dante, belaho na neshido lis, heshi the nech ehedes inigi be belaho ido lis to yelaho yinen ado lis." Again, it's just a quick conversion from English to Navajo, and I always try to encourage each and every one of you to tune into my podcast as well. All the podcasts are updated on a weekly basis, everything that's in Navajo. So if you turn on the radio right now while you're listening to me on Facebook Live, on KTNN, KGAK, and KNDN, you'll see a 20-minute in Navajo, what I'm going over right now. And that's just out of respect for our elders. A lot of our elders really do appreciate that. They always tell me, hey, so it's always an honor to hear from our elders and how they truly enjoy the update. Not only some of you are listening here on social media, but a lot of our elders, they really still continue to listen to KTNN, KGAK, and KNDN, and they really enjoy the 20-minute updates that I give on that website. And so now on to the meat and potatoes, right? The week's accomplishments. One of the things I've always advocated on is a partnership. Without partnerships, it's hard to get anything accomplished. And one of the things we've really focused on is working with our county partners. And one partnership we've developed is with Yavapai County. They've got an airport in Western Navajo, and they've needed to come into compliance with the Federal Aviation Administration, or they're going to shut down their airport. But they needed to buy some land from the Navajo Nation. About 30 years ago, or 30 plus years ago, the Navajo Nation purchased Big Boquillas Ranch. They bought it for about $69 an acre. But today it's worth $1,225 an acre. So they wanted to buy 7.2 acres so that they can be in compliance with the airport. So we sold that to them, and I think it was the first time in history the Navajo Nation sold some land that we purchased over 30 years ago. So again, to me, I think it was a great good investment, $69 to $1,225 an acre. All you had to do is wait, and the value of the land has increased, and now the Yavapai County can enjoy their airport. So again, it's always in the spirit of collaboration. You never know when we really need our counties to rise up and help us. So with that, it was an honor to help them out and get their airport open. Moving on is also another update. I know we talked about this back in April and in March about carbon credits compliance offset program based out of California. To me, one of the things I mentioned is that it's basically free money. The way I think about it, we have our own forests, we have our own trees, all over the Navajo Nation. We have a massive amount of, I believe it's over 500,000 acres of forest that we have, and that we can actually make money off of a program in California, and they pay us for the money for the trees that we already have, just to kind of offset some of the carbon that's being produced out of California. So, and that value is, when it comes to fruition, it's about 200 million over 10 years. And this project has been going on for many, I think it was the 23rd Council, 24th Council, and now within the 25th Council, and my predecessors as well. And one of the things that I feel like I've done the first part of my 10 years president is every time I went to the Department of Interior, I asked about this. I said, hey, we really need your letter and your support so we can submit our application to California. And so we did. We submitted our application back in April, and we just our application was approved on August 7th. So that's another great way to generate revenues, because as your president, one of the main things I focus on is revenue generating. Without revenue generating activities, then it's so hard and difficult to provide public safety, provide facilities, fix roads, provide scholarships, help our veterans. All of that costs money. So anytime I'm talking about revenue generating and jobs, I really need your support. And at the same time, you all have local council delegates that you can talk to and really let them know, let's get behind the president and make sure we support him anytime he's talking about revenue generating projects. So that was a big win for us this week. And as the project continues to move forward, I'll keep you in the loop as well, and also keep you in the loop when the first check comes into play as well. And also many thanks to the Resource and Development Committee as well, because they've been very instrumental in this, not only this Resource and Development Committee, but prior RDC committees as well. Also, Apache County, we had President Dr. Shirley in the office yesterday, and we signed for Carrizo, Tisnas Bus gravel pit that they're trying to open so that they can serve more of their roads and have access to gravel and sand a lot closer. So they've been working on that for well over 10 years. I believe I was told that Supervisor Shirley was a supervisor when he was working on it, and became president, and then he came back as supervisor. And that's how long they've been working on this gravel pit. And it was an honor for me to finally sign off on it on behalf of the Navajo Nation, him as a supervisor as well. And now it goes to the next stages, which is Secretary Holland. So I look forward to visiting with Secretary Holland and getting this gravel pit approved from the Department of Interior so that we can start moving forward with our gravel pits. And also another big win this week was a settlement. A settlement came through this week. It was basically nation received substantial amount for opioid cases. It was basically the tribe sued health organizations to litigate Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens, and some of the causes of opioid overuses and their distributing and all the things that cause addiction efforts. So the Navajo Nation is going to get $63 million. So that's a hefty amount of money. So it's going to be good to really work out the plans on how we're going to use those funds, and I'll keep you in the loop as the funds continue to be allocated. So, and then coming down the wire, we got major projects I'm working on. As mentioned, I've got the Deny Action Plan. I've mentioned that from the very beginning. It's one of the assignments I assigned to the Vice President, and she's working diligently with the Department Director, Thomas Cody, really trying to make sure that the policy and the legislation that was passed years ago, we continue to implement that so that there's representation for our women, to eliminate suicides and substance sure that happens. So again, making sure that I'm working with them, and during the summer session, I asked council to help support and fund that. And I know that through this year's budget session, we've committed, hopefully with the budget being approved, will be about $100,000 on behalf of the executive branch and then judicial and legislative will put in their own pots of money. But this is an effort from all three branches to get this to an action plan going. So it's a heavy task, a lot of work that's involved with this initiative. But I've tasked the Vice President and Director Cody to make sure that this gets up and running, because I believe it was the 23rd Council that approved this plan. So it's long overdue. So I'm looking forward to getting that up and running. And in conclusion, just real quick, we had some really historic meet and greets this week. Breastfeeding Awareness Proclamation signing. With the First Lady in her office gave a welcome address to the Sandra Day O'Connor School of Law, to the whole incoming class of law students. It was over about 300 students, or maybe 250 students. But it was a little different crowd because I'm used to speaking to just strictly Navajo. So I was speaking to all sorts of people at the orientation and upcoming events. We've got the Miss Navajo motorcycle show on the 19th from Window Rock to Wildkenden. And then Central Agency Fairs next week. We'll be there. So we'll see you very soon. And then we have Rama Navajo Fair. And the Vice President will be going to Rama Navajo Fair. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you so much. Horo hada kesigia si yego shiklilo horo nikeche hanaste to shiklilo horo tenebanan an khanshnigi e hoto hehan kedini do as yego data hosnya do kedanno io juno nani khatole hehad horoshi. We're going to have the Vice President of the Navajo Nation to give her update as well. So hagone.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. This is Rochelle Montoya, your Navajo Nation Vice President. I'm giving my update for the week. Last week, Friday, Gallup ceremonial Gallup, New Mexico. I was able to help select the new Little Miss ceremonial with a couple of other judges, the wonderful Lauren Anthony from Chij and also Hannah Haron, the former Miss Eastern Navajo teen from Baja. And we were able to select a young gal named Snowflake Blackwell from Ayambatot, New Mexico. That was a really beautiful pageant and showcase of talent and skill by these young girls to vie for this title of Little Miss Ceremonial. And all of them did such a good job, but it was a really hard choice to make, and we did that. So I feel congratulations to Snowflake, and her family will have a wonderful year this coming year. And of course, we let the other little ladies know that don't give up, keep going, try another title, and keep learning about your culture and keep learning your language so that you can showcase that to your generation, and that everybody can participate in things like this and participate at home in ceremonies, conversations with grandmas and grandpas. Then the next day was the ceremonial day parade in Gallup, New Mexico. I was very honored to be escorted by Gallup Police Chief Aaron Todolina Pablo, also Gallup Police Officers Lieutenant Mark Spencer, Officer Desidero, and New Mexico State Police Sergeant Roman. It was a really good feeling to be there, especially after the events of last year, to feel safe. So I would like to thank all of the police officers, emergency responders that were there that day to secure the parade route, to secure our people. We had a lot of people come in to watch the parade. And so I'm sure everybody felt safe and everybody felt secure that day. So it was a good parade. I also like to thank the ceremonial board president Kyle Tom for your hospitality to the Navajo Nation Office of the President and Vice President throughout the ceremonial festivities, and all the committee members, all the different committees that took care of the ceremonial festivities. That evening, Saturday, I was also honored to be invited to Lyndon Sosie's artist meet and greet. Great food, great conversations. Always good to visit with Lyndon and all the individuals that are there to have a good conversation with. And then that later on that evening, I went to the song and dance at the Red Rock State Park. Always good to be at the song and dance. I always talk about how the beautifully dressed people are there. I know that one of the categories for song and dance is best dressed, and they sure do bring it. Konjuna go eba na state to ari eyan hich ahasti to yat en hidi need ako. It was a good day. Aro Sunday go eya ashe shik en denigi nicest go. I had a good day with my family that day. Took a little break from being vice president and just had some time with my sisters, my children, and just being with them re-energized me for the rest of the week that was coming up, which comes to Monday. So Navajo code talkers napati ninigi eya kwaigi binya ehi kai sa eya di parade bana state e adin nado. We celebrated our code talkers. We do have 3 remaining still. And we then had a presentation ceremony here outside on the Veterans Park outside the Office of the President and Vice President's building. Later on that afternoon, I was invited to Navajo Code Talker John Kinsel Sr.'s home to share a meal and to have a discussion with himself, his family. I was invited by my good friend, my Yaj, Lauren Anthony from Chish for Che, who helped secure a new roof for Code Talker John Kinsel Sr. And now Navajo Nation has visited there, and we're wanting to work on a bathroom addition, as the family had mentioned that day. It was such an honor to be in their home, an honor to share a meal with them. It was a good way to end Navajo Code Talker Day for me. Later on that evening, I had dinner with Cade Allison and his family before he left for Yale. It's always such a good thing when our young, just graduated from high school, or someone that's still in college that has moved on to a different educational setting, to be invited to help celebrate, to help give some words of encouragement, some advice from when I was at university. And so I welcome that, and I enjoy the time, and I really appreciate the family including me in on their celebration, and working with them to make sure that our students are okay when they're away at school, far away, and that they have a way to communicate back with our families to make sure that their spirit is up, their encouragement is there, and that they know that we're behind them 110%, and that they finish there. So congratulations again, Cade, and to the Allison family for getting into Yale, and we look forward to your graduation in a few years. Again, like I said, family is big to me. I hold on to that, and it's something that I really enjoy being with my family. So later on that same evening, Monday evening, I had a good conversation and a nice piece of pie with my brother Justin Jones, Yat Eshanad, Shabiji Shanoa, and my sister Charlene, and of course the boys. It's always such a good thing to be with family. Justin was a very good nephew to my dad, my late dad, and that's how I got to know him. So when I sit down and speak with my brother Justin, he gives me a lot of words of encouragement that remind me of when I was with my dad. And then later on, our Tuesday, I was able to attend a meeting with the executive directors of Department of, or Dinepe Ellicott School Board Association and Diné Grant School Association. Our discussion was to request the BIE, Bureau of Indian Education, Tony Dearman, to secure funding for teacher pay increase for our schools on Navajo Nation. And as everybody knows, our border town schools are increasing their pay for their teachers. They're getting bonuses, and so these two entities are advocating for and asking for the Office of the President and Vice President to support them in securing these fundings for our teachers on Navajo Nation, so that we have our certified teachers remain here on Navajo Nation. So that's another meeting we had. Later on that day, I attended the New Mexico Association of Counties Treasurers Affiliate Annual Fall Conference in Santa Ana. And this was a conference that was organized by the Sandoval County Treasurer's Office. I met with the county manager, Wayne Johnson, the county assessor, the county attorney, the business development and tourism director, the county clerk, Ann Brady Romero, community service director, the detention center warden, finance department, the fire chief, Eric Masterson. He said to say hello to AJ out in Torreon. Also the marketing communications director, public safety director, the treasurer, Jennifer Taylor, is the one who invited me. I appreciate your time, Jennifer. Also the Sandoval County Sheriff, Jesse James Casals, and I did discuss with him different things that affect the Torreon, Ojo Encino areas of our Navajo Nation. And then on Wednesday, as everybody knows, yesterday we made an announcement on something very personal in my life. And I just wanted to say that I am and will remain your Navajo Nation Vice President. Olson and I are processing this issue and remain respectful to one another. And we appreciate your words of support and encouragement. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for your understanding. And just have a wonderful day, the wonderful rest of your week. This coming weekend is the Santa Fe Indian Market. There's so many things that are happening out there. I do still meet with constituents. I do still go out to the chapters. I do still meet with the different committees and the council delegates and our Chief Justice. Just please know that I'm out there and I'm here for you, my people. And thank you so much for your day again. This is Rochelle Montoya, your Navajo Nation Vice President. And here we have our Mayaj, Executive Director of General Services, Shauna Vendale. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Vice President, all the listeners out there in Facebook world. Good afternoon. My name is Shauna Vendale. I am the Executive Director for the Division of General Services, appointed here by the Nygren Montoya administration. So good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's staying dry out there. Just a heads up, but there is a weather advisory from the National Weather Service just north of here, north of Fort Defiance. An extremely heavy storm is headed your way, so batten down the hatches and pen up your chickens. You don't want them blown away. But despite that, I wanted to provide an update to everybody here listening on 3 items that the Division of General Services is currently working on and has accomplished here within the past month or so. First is the American with Disabilities Act, our facility upgrades. The Navajo Nation Council, with the assistance of the Navajo Nation Disability Advisory Council, lobbied and advocated for $13 million to upgrade all of our tribal buildings across Navajo Nation to allow accessibility for our disabled citizens. Based on Denigi Banija, can be in the Anishi, but straight out of Nito, Hadato, Nith, Halakon, Hikeo, but in the has it's ours up, but not that con but in the Hishna, or you bandan Kahont Alnaya, Igao, no to Kin Denigi, but straight out net. So, as part of the funding, the facility upgrades, they include accessibility ramps, handicap ramps. We have improved guardrails, handrails for our citizens. We have designated parking spaces, remarked, repainted, paved for van access for our disabled citizens. We also have upgrades on door grips for the public, actually in general, for the public as well, not only our disabled citizens, but we admit that we do have a lot of shortcomings when it comes to addressing the American with Disabilities Act. Thankfully, the Navajo Nation Disability Advisory Council and the Division of Health provided insight and oversight in the allocation of $13 million. The only challenge that we currently have is getting successful contractors. So as my plea to the public out there and those listening, if you're a small business owner, if you're a small contractor, I encourage you to look on the Office of the Controller website. and submit a proposal to tap into that $13 million. That way, we're providing work, we're providing resources, employing our Navajo people, and providing these upgrades. So I would encourage our vendors to apply and to submit proposals. Currently, we have 2 projects, but they're smaller projects, starting in Central or Chinle Agency. And then we also have another project starting within the Fort Defiance Agency. So we've had 2 successful contractors bid on these projects, but trust me, there's plenty more facilities out there that need this attention. So if you're a small business owner, small contractor, please get in touch with the Division of General Services, Facility Maintenance, or look on the Office to Controller website for the current RFP out there. We also like to thank the Health and Education Human Services Committee and the chairperson there, Honorable Vince James from Ganado. Also a legislation of a sponsor approving a $4.5 million drawdown of the Fleet Management Fund. This will allow us to procure new public safety vehicles for the Navajo Nation Police Department. We're looking at procuring 60 new vehicles. Currently, the vehicles are older than 5 years, and many have over 200,000 miles on these vehicles. So we're starting to see a decrease in response, or an increase in response time, and the time that the vehicle is out for repairs and maintenance has also increased. So if we can get rid of the old vehicles, bring in the new vehicles, which we're hoping on doing here within the next month or so, we'll have 60 new vehicles for the public safety division, and that way we'll go down to the law enforcement, increasing our new law enforcement vehicles. So be on the lookout for that as well. The Navajo Nation Summer Council from the Division of General Services is greatly appreciative to Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, who championed legislation for a new Navajo Nation building code. We want to extend our appreciation and thanks to Honorable Charles Newton, as well as her agent, Mr. Marcus Tulu, the Facility Management Department Manager. They successfully answered numerous questions from council. The legislation was deferred multiple times. Eventually, the new Navajo Nation Building Code, which promulgated the current UBC, to apply for the Navajo Nation as well. This is applicable only to Navajo Nation buildings. From this point forward, it does not apply to your residential homes, to your sheep camp, to your chash, or that's all excluded because those are non-commercial buildings. There was an uproar about the applicability of the code. Again, it only applies to your commercial buildings. So grandma, grandpa, everybody building their home, it does not apply to you, only commercial buildings. The second thing that the building code does is ensures accountability on our contractors and architects working with the Navajo Nation. Currently, they are mandated to use the current building codes. However, there's no enforcement. With the new code, it does allow for that enforcement to occur. The Design and Engineering Services always reviews these plans and they apply the most recent code. This only reinforces a lot of that code requirements. So it ensures accountability. It also ensures accountability on the use of Navajo Nation funds. Most buildings are already designed and in compliance with the code, so we see no substantial impact. Only going forward that these requirements be met. And it also ensures a baseline will be met to the protection of our assets when it comes to funding, when it comes to property, when it comes to buildings. We'll have a baseline, and this is our minimum standard that you must meet. If you exceed it, by all means, we greatly appreciate that. So with that, those are some quick, brief updates from the Division of General Services. The biggest one we're looking forward in completing this year is the American with Disabilities Act facility upgraded projects here, which would address a lot of concerns from our constituents, from the public out there on the Navajo Nation. So we look forward to working with you. And again, if you're a contractor, if you're a small business owner, you're more than welcome to contact me and my division or facility management and ask about the American with Disabilities Act and that you want to submit a proposal. We are opening that up to everybody here. So we appreciate the time this afternoon from the Division of General Services. I will hand the time over to my colleague, Mr. Mike Colonna, with the Division of Natural Resources. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you, Donovan. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to have this opportunity to come and share with you a little bit of what's going on within the Division of Natural Resources. My name is Mike Colonna, and I'm the Executive Director for Division of Natural Resources. And so some of the exciting things that are happening in the Division of Natural Resources, a big phenomenal accomplishment recently is when the California Commission for Carbon Credits has identified and qualified the Navajo Nation to receive those carbon credits. And what that means is that and it's going to be another revenue generating opportunity for the nation. The state of California pays these credits to entities such as the Navajo Nation, that we have our own forests, and in those forests we capture a lot of the emissions, and as a result they're able to pay those credits, and these are significant amounts of revenue that will be generated as a result of that. So that's really exciting, and it had taken quite a bit of time to get to that level. Another big event that the Division of Natural Resources participated in was the ability to able to sell land for the very first time. We hear about the Navajo Nation acquiring additional lands. We were actually able to sell land on the Navajo Nation, and this is what we call fee simple land. The Navajo Nation owns the title and the deed to those lands, and the Yavapai County came to the Navajo Nation and asked if they could acquire some land for them to expand their airport, so they would be able to expand the airport and be able to become into the safety compliance that's required by the FFA for the airport there in Seligman. And of course, we had the Big Boquillas Ranch, which surrounds all of this little town of Seligman, to the north, all the way to the Grand Canyon, to the west, all the way to the Wallapai Nation. And so, which will bring some revenue into the nation as well. Another area we've been looking at is our forest department has been really working and addressing some of the lightning strikes that we are now seeing happen readily out in our forest areas. And we appreciate all the moisture, all the rain that's coming in, which then brings thunderstorms. And we've had lightning strikes that started a fire over by Klagetoh. We had a fire over in west of Cameron, just right along the Grand Canyon area. We call Gold Mine Mesa area. We had a fire out there, and so we'll try to respond to these quickly. So if you see smoke in the area, there shouldn't be any. Notify the forest department as soon as possible, so we're able to get there and get those contained quicker before they may expand out. Our water resource department has been working with a lot of the requests that are coming in on the wells. Although we're receiving moisture, there's still a lot of need for water. And the water resource department they are short on staff right now, so they're trying to get to some of these requests as soon as possible. There's approximately 914 wells on the windmills on the Navajo Nation. We've done assessments and gotten information from all of our people out in the field, from the chapters themselves, that there are some of these wells that aren't operating. and we found about 70 wells that need attention, either repairs with repairing the windmills with some of the parts that are needed. Some of these parts, if they're readily available, they can be repaired sooner. If not, they have to be ordered. And of course, the supply of those parts are in the supply chain, which is backed up. So that's one area. And then another, and so what we've been able to do is repair some of these by putting what they call a jump pump in, to change the technology at those wells to still start producing water for your livestock out there. Another issue has been there hasn't been wind like we used to experience that would keep those wells pumping water. So with no wind, there's no pumping, and that has also caused a concern in some of the areas. But we will continue to respond and find adjustments. Look at also maybe more solar operation at some of these wells to be able to get those going. So that's what I have to report this week, and I really appreciate all of your time and hearing what the Division of Natural Resources is working on. And we wish you all a great week. And I want to turn time over to our colleagues over from the Division of Human Resources, Ms. Debbie Nez Manuel. Thank you.
Thank you to Director Holona for that really good and informative update. I'm here this morning just to, this afternoon, to share some updates about some of the projects we've been working on. I serve as the Executive Director for Human Resources and really glad to be here. I want to acknowledge all of our first responders out there, from public safety, fire, from our healthcare providers. We really can't do this work without you taking care of our nation and our communities. I want to start with a follow-up information regarding the chapter incident response team. So there's an effort that was started to mobilize on June 8th, and we started to really take a closer look at some of the experiences that the chapter houses, and especially our Navajo Nation employees. They've been experiencing some challenges, and so we're really looking closely at that because we care about our Navajo Nation employees. We care that they feel good, they feel comfortable in the workplace. And what turned out from that assessment of just talking with a lot of people in chapters is that we needed to build capacity. We needed to ensure that we were providing professional development opportunities. And so last Tuesday on August 8th, we held a training event, an education event over at Twin Arrows Conference Room. And there at that location, we had close to 250 people in attendance, 270 people with staff. And we covered a lot of introductory type materials. And out of that, we got some responses via our questionnaires, over 115 surveys, and I want to say 83 comments. So this week, we are going to be hosting a Zoom session for those training participants to not only respond to their comments, but to also respond to the questionnaires, the feedback, and really focus on creating inclusion and opening up lines of communication. So in a strategy plan that we're putting together for capacity building is really about reviewing the surveys from the training, responding to all of the questions that we receive, and we'll host that virtually through Zoom and make sure that we invite all of the participants to join in. Next, we're going to plan a inclusive meeting with all of our 5 agencies, along with the ASCs from the Division of Community Development. Some people have asked, Debbie, why are you working on this? Why is Human Resources involved? And we're involved because it's important for us to help the Division of Community Development. Their focus right now is really on ARPA and what they got to do, but we don't want to dismiss the needs of our Navajo Nation employees, our communities that are needing additional support. So in opening up this communication, we're going to be focusing on some training needs that really were prioritized at the training. One of them is talking and learning more about the 5 management system. Well, there might be assumptions that everybody knows about this. That's actually not true. From what we found out at the training, there's a lot of people who want more clarification, guidance, and opportunities to focus on in-house policies and procedures. And we know now today that policies and procedures range from one area to another, from one non-certified chapter to a certified chapter. But we did discover that there's a lot of people who need that additional support. We also want to help support the efforts for chapters who need the some of the starting points for retirement. Those are for certified chapters, and then also for the community emergency response process. Grant writing, we discovered that out of the 250 participants that were there, less than 5 had grant writing experiences, which is a major hurdle. If we want our communities to be self-sufficient, we need grant writers to be really involved in helping them move in that direction. The other thing is when we look at local governance, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But to wrap up this presentation, I want to share a little bit more on another program that we have with Child Support Services. We are looking at our program, and August was proclaimed Child Support Month, Awareness Month. And so we want to promote those important opportunities for parents who are a part of their children's lives, who are giving them love, providing the nurturing and the protective environments that they need for all of our little ones. We also want to make sure that you know that there are public offices that are available in Crown Point, Shiprock, St. Michael's, Chinle, and Tuba City. Each of those offices are open Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. We really care about our children. We want to make a difference in their lives, and we ask you to join us in any of those communities. During the Central Fair in Chinle, there will be a lot of resources and information available as well. I want to say thank you again to all of our team members, not only within our division, but all of our colleagues that work together to support the efforts within the administration. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to my colleague, Director Bobby Baldwin, and she'll share more information about the Veterans Division or Office. And then I will continue to be here. Feel free to reach out to our office at Division of Human Resources. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Yate Shea Ya Bobby and Baldwin Dashijin. Nash Educachi Isho, 1200 Bashichin, B 28 Dashiche Aro Ashen Dashinella. I am the Executive Director for the Veterans Administration here in Window Rock, Arizona, and I want to tell everyone thank you for viewing, thank you for zooming in and being a part of our recording and our updates. So with regards to the Veterans Administration, what we have been working on is, of course, on Monday, we did celebrate our Navajo Nation veterans, our Navajo Nation Code Talkers Day, and we did honor all our Code Talkers, and we did especially honor our Code Talker Peter McDonald, John Kinsel, and Mr. Thomas H.B. Day. They were awarded gifts of certificates of appreciation as well as their challenge coins from the Commandant of the Marine Corps, from the United States government, and they were given plaques and awards as well. From the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration, we did provide them some gifts from our administration as well, with the efforts and collaboration with the Office of the President and the Office of the Speaker. So we want to tell everyone thank you for attending, and we appreciate your attendance, and to the families and to the Code Talkers, thank you for being a part of our celebration, and thank you for your services. Aside from that, we have been working on the home site lease process for our Navajo veterans and their families, and we've been going out and working with the Navajo Land Department, and we've been working with Ms. Tanya Sam of the Shiprock Agency or Northern Agency Office, and we've been educating our veterans and their families about the home site lease process, along with the Navajo Nation Veterans Housing Program. So there's a lot of who's, what's, where's that we've been answering at each of the orientations we have provided. The first one was done out in Eastern Agency at Crown Point Chapter. The second one was done in Northern Agency, and they were both proven successful. We do have yet to visit the Fort Defiance, the Western, and the Central agencies to give them their home site lease and Navajo Nation Veterans Housing Program updates as well. And we want to be able to assist them. So if you have any questions, please reach out to our housing specialists at each of our agencies, and we will be able to help you with those requests and help guide you through the processes that we do have. Another thing that we're looking forward to is the new allocation that had come in for the Veterans Trust Fund. Thank you to Honorable Slater for sponsoring this legislation to correct the language within the laws so that we are able to draw more funds for our veterans. The new legislation does approve $5.1 million from the Veterans Trust Fund to be given to the veterans for their financial assistances based on their hardships. And some of these include hardship assistance, which covers food, shelter, clothing, medicines, workshops, and also energy assistances, which helps with propane, heating expenses such as wood and fire stove pellets also. So those are some of the things that these trust funds are expended for. So we appreciate Honorable Slater and of course President Dr. Nygren for approving and signing through this legislation to help our veterans. We are very, very thankful for this. And we also have our budget orientations that are ongoing for our chapter veterans organization officers. So if you have any questions regarding how to prepare the budget for the new allocation, we are here to assist you. Give us a call. We will be able to give you the orientation and provide more detailed information for each of you. And one last thing, with the upcoming christening of the USNS Navajo, this will be held in Bollinger Homa Shipyards on August 26th at 10 a.m. We've been working with Ms. Jocelyn Upshaw with these efforts to do live stream all across Navajo Nation, and this will be something that will be covered in depth. We do have several advisory council members who will be attending and being a part of this christening. So we look forward to working with each of you, and we welcome you each to our offices. If you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to reach out. Give us a call and email or stop on in. You're welcome to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and meet with each of our staff members. If you should have any other further concerns beyond that, please let us know. That way we may ensure that we are providing the best customer services to each of our veterans. And once again, I want to tell our veterans, our Vietnam veterans especially, welcome home, and we appreciate your services, and thank you for everything you've done for our countries. To all service members, thank you.
Take me home, carry me on, back to her. Reservation wrong, take me home, carry me onward, back to her. Reservation wrong, take me home, carry me onward, back to her.